I want to thank all the committee heads, chairman, for what you've done. The first bill that we put out, each of you worked hard to get. Each of you had things and were part of the process. Our Democrat colleagues, no one voted for our bill that the House sent over. No one agrees with giving money back to the taxpayer that they earned. And to have my good friend, Mr. McGovern, question whether there were really people who are able-bodied, and it's not that many of them, you hadn't been in the real world. You go to that restaurant, you go to that electrician, you go to that tire manufacturer. Every day, the number one concern is getting people who are willing to do hot work. It's not there. You've been in government too long. And all I would say is that the founders and the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence would be astounded that we're sitting here talking about something that we hadn't read fully. We hadn't got a copy of it. Now, Mr. McGovern, I do agree with you on that, the fact that we should have it in hand. I think the founders and the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence would be astounded that we're adding debt to our children and grandchildren who are defenseless. Debt is a curse. And Jody, you were right. We got to reverse the curse. And what the Senate did is unconscionable. What they did to our bill was unconscionable. And that's why, I will be, unlike my Democrat colleagues, they will not support anything their new leader in New York, Mandani, government-run stores, government-run gas stations, government-run apartments. I wonder how many U-Haulers are now leaving New York, and the socialist theory just does not work. So yeah, I'm against this because of what the Senate did. I'll vote against it here, and I'll vote against it on the floor until we get it right. And the fact is, the good news, we're going to pass the tax cuts. The tax cuts don't expire until the December of this year. We're going to pass the tax cuts. And I think we're going to go back to the drawing table. It is my hope we'll go back to the drawing table and get very close to what we sent the Senate, because instead of each individual senator getting a goodie bag and sacrificing the health of this country is an abomination to, again, the founders and the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence. So I do think that hopefully we'll get to that. We're not there yet, but I think hopefully we will be, and the American people will be better off for it. I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Norman.
Welcome back to America First, Patriots. I'm your host, and we've got some serious business to discuss today. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you believe in putting America first. We're growing this movement one patriot at a time, and your support means everything. Today I want to react to a speech that perfectly captures what's wrong with Washington and why we need fighters who actually understand what it means to serve the American people. This congressman is speaking truth to power, and frankly, it's refreshing to hear someone call out the establishment on both sides of the aisle. Let me start with the core issue here. We're talking about a bill that would return money to taxpayers, money they earned to their hard work, and not a single Democrat voted for it. Think about that for a moment. We have elected officials who think they know better than you about how to spend your own money. This is exactly the kind of big government overreach our founders warned us about. The congressman mentions the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence, and he's absolutely right. These men risked everything to create a nation where individual liberty and limited government were the foundation. They would be horrified to see politicians adding trillions in debt that our children and grandchildren will have to pay. This isn't just about fiscal responsibility. This is about moral responsibility to future generations. Now, let's talk about the workforce issue he raises. Any patriot who spent time in the real economy knows exactly what he's talking about. Go to any construction site, any manufacturing plant, any restaurant, and they'll tell you the same thing. Finding people willing to work hard jobs is incredibly difficult. We've created a culture of dependency instead of a culture of work and personal responsibility. When government makes it more profitable to stay home than to work, we shouldn't be surprised when people choose the easy path. The congressman is right to point out that his colleagues have been in government too long. They've lost touch with the reality that most Americans face every single day. They don't understand that small business owners are struggling to find employees while simultaneously being crushed by regulations and taxes. The Senate's handling of this bill is exactly what's wrong with our system. Instead of representing the will of the people, senators were more concerned with getting their individual pet projects funded. Every senator wanted their goodie bag, while the American taxpayer gets stuck with the bill. This is the swamp mentality that President Trump fought against, and it's why we need more fighters like this congressman. What really stands out to me is his mention of New York's leadership and their socialist policies. Government-run stores, government-run gas stations, government-run apartments. This is straight out of the communist playbook, and we're seeing the results. People are fleeing New York in record numbers because these policies don't work. They never have worked, and they never will work. Socialism isn't compassionate. It's not progressive. It's a system that destroys individual initiative and creates massive government dependency. Every time it's been tried throughout history, it has led to economic collapse and human suffering. The fact that we have American politicians openly advocating for these policies should terrify every patriot. The congressman's commitment to vote against this bill until it's fixed shows real leadership. Too often, politicians cave to pressure and vote for bad legislation because it's politically expedient. This is exactly the kind of principled stand we need more of in Washington. He's also right about the tax cuts. These aren't just economic policies. They're about fundamental principles. When you let people keep more of their own money, they spend it, save it, and invest it better than any government bureaucrat ever could. Tax cuts create jobs, stimulate economic growth, and strengthen families. This isn't theory. This is proven economic reality. The debt issue cannot be overstated. We're not just talking about numbers on a balance sheet. We're talking about enslaving future generations to pay for today's government spending. Every dollar of debt we add today is a dollar that our children won't be able to spend on their own priorities. It's taxation without representation for people who aren't even old enough to vote yet. What this speech really highlights is the fundamental choice America faces. Do we want a government that trusts individuals to make their own decisions? Or do we want a government that thinks it knows better than we do? Do we want elected officials who understand the value of hard work? Or do we want career politicians who've never held a real job outside of government? The congressman's invocation to the founders isn't just rhetoric. It's a reminder that this country was built on the radical idea that government should serve the people, not the other way around. Every time we expand government power, we diminish individual freedom. Every time we increase government spending, we reduce private sector opportunity. Patriots, this is why elections matter. This is why we need to support candidates who actually understand these principles and are willing to fight for them. It's not enough to just complain about the swamp. We need to elect people who will drain it. The good news, as the congressman points out, is that there's still time to get this right. The tax cuts don't expire until December, which gives us an opportunity to build public pressure for the right kind of legislation. But that only happens if patriots like you stay engaged and hold your representatives accountable. This fight isn't just about one bill or one budget cycle. It's about the fundamental direction of our country. Are we going to return to the constitutional principles that made America great, or are we going to continue down the path toward big government socialism? I know where I stand, and I know where the patriots watching this channel stand. We believe in individual liberty, personal responsibility, limited government, and free market economics. These aren't just political talking points. These are the principles that built the greatest nation in human history. So here's what I want you to do. Contact your representatives and tell them you support returning money to taxpayers instead of growing government. Tell them you oppose adding more debt for future generations to pay. Tell them you want legislators who actually read the bills before they vote on them. And remember, this fight isn't going to be won in Washington. It's going to be won in communities across America by patriots who refuse to give up on the principles that made this country great. Keep fighting, keep speaking truth, and keep putting America first. Thanks for watching America First. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with fellow patriots. We'll see you in the next one. And remember, the fight for America never ends.